Hello there, friends. So today we're going to be doing this. Okay, from what I understand, this is probably like a razor seat or side by side. Kind of looks like a golf cart seat. A lot of golf cart seats are really similar to this. So this method should work for both or all three or whatever. Similar seats. So anyway, we're going to be duplicating this seat cover today. Got three colors. It's a little duplicate, little complicated. The only thing that we're going to do to simplify it is he doesn't want the pleats going across the back. So we're just going to do smooth and plain inserts, and I'll show you how it's done. So here we go. So to begin, the process is always the same, never changes. I always first mark where the intersections are. If you've seen my other videos, you'll see that this is where I usually start, and this is going to be no different. So you should know what I'm going to be doing already. So we got those there. The only other one I see is this one right here. Because it's black vinyl, I'm going to mark it in my white China marker. Okay, then we'll start taking it apart. In my previous videos, I showed you a couple different methods of taking seams apart. One was the box cutter method. This is Lucille, by the way. So this is separating the seams. If you needed to save your panels and had to do some kind of restitch, like say if this one here was still good but you're only replacing this one, so this is the way that you would do that. Take the threads apart, right? So anyway, that's that method. Then the other one is to use a razor blade. So you can use the razor blade just by cutting along the seam right there. It's the quick and easy method. Just like that. And then when you make your pattern, you just add in your 3/8 inch back into it. So today's technique number 127 is just to use the scissors. It's similar to the razor blade, where you just cut right next to the seam, just like that. Quick and speedy. If you're in business, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time on something. You always want to move on to the next project. So I'm going to go ahead and take the rest of this apart using the scissor method. What I was noticing, this is the factory installed razor seat cover here, and these staples are not stainless staples. You can see they're pretty rusty. Even like this one right here just totally fell apart. So when you're doing boat upholstery, anything that's outside, exposed to the elements, this is the difference between regular staples, like say for furniture, indoor furniture that's never going to see weather. So what we always want to do is use stainless steel staples. So stainless steel staples, they cost way more than regular staples, and they even give you less of them in a box. But this is what they look like right here. That's stainless, right? So that's what you want to use. They won't rust like that. go, baby? Come here. Come here. Did you go, baby? Did you go, baby? Did you go, baby? Did you go, baby? Yay, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, go on. So technique number 133 is, instead of making all the patterns like, say, left and right side like this, sometimes on the driver's side or the left side is always going to be worse off than the passenger side. You can see that here. This is a good example. And all the duct tape and stuff that they put. So instead of making those patterns, I'll set those aside. And to get a more accurate and a better result, what I will do, like say for this insert here, and also for the sides, what I will do is I will make a left and right pattern. Like say for this one right here, what I will do is I will make a pattern right there. I'll draw it out, cut it out, and then I'll flip it to the other side. Make that one. So that way I end up with a left and a right. So say if one is unusable, one pattern like the one with the duct tape over there, but this one here is intact, this is the one I'm going to use. So I will make a pattern with this side here correctly up, then I flip it, and then I draw this one out and cut it, and that way I have a perfect pattern for both left and right, because otherwise you're kind of guessing if you have a bad pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out this pattern here. Remember, I got to add in that 3/8 of an inch back in that I took out. Put my marks, plus 3/8 of an inch all the way around. So now for technique number 48. So technique number 48 is, I don't draw the pattern here, okay, where the staples are. What I do is I leave an extra length, sometimes about an inch or more. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue the pattern all the way down to here. That way I have extra length where I'm going to be stapling. And then if it's too long in the end, I trim it off anyway. So this way you're not coming up short. So just leave that extra length there. I'm going to do the same for both ends, because both ends here get stapled. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. I know that this is the passenger side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put P for passenger. And then remember what I was talking about earlier? You just flip it over and then draw it out. That way you get your duplicate. Then remember our marks are right here. There's one right there. Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to mark D for driver. Then to avoid any confusion, what I do is a pattern that I've already made, I will put a big X over it. Just to remind myself that I already made that. So that way I don't make a duplicate and waste material and time. I've done that before. It's frustrating. So always start from the center, matching up your marks right here to the intersection. That's the reason for the mark. So one way to do it is to start from the center like you just saw me do, flip it over, do the other way. So the other way to do it is just to line up your marks, and then you know where you've got to start sewing on the end. And you can see that they're still lined up. What I'm going to do for my customer is he had some kind of a hole in his seat cover here, and it wore down some of the foam, and he put the duct tape over it. So anyway, what I'm going to do for him is I'm just going to take some of this Dacron, and I'm going to end up gluing this down. Like that. He doesn't know I'm doing that for him, but I'm going to put that on both sides. Not only will he get comfort, but the cover will look nice and smooth over that corner. When installing the cover, I like to do the four corners first, set the corners. So we'll get them placed. You can see here how I went extra long on that vinyl. So now that I have the four corners set, I can go ahead and start filling in the center. A heat gun is always helpful. That way you can warm up the material, especially if it's winter time where you're at. Not so much if you're in a warm climate like where I am. But it's nice to get it nice and warm. If you're worried about how warm to get it, you can see my other video. You can look it up. How not to burn your vinyl with a heat gun, which is always a possibility. I always recommend to watch that video. Get it nice and warm. So for corners like this, I grab the heat gun, warm it up. Well, let me show you what happens if you don't use the heat gun. If you don't use the heat gun, you end up with all this extra material like that. So a lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter because it's on the bottom, nobody will ever see it. Okay, but that's not us, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to warm up that corner. This is technique number 224. Warm up that corner. Now you see what happens to the vinyl. So that's what's going to happen. You see the difference? Well, that's what we're talking about. Now I'm just going to finish off all the stapling, and then the last thing we got to do is just trim. The last thing that we do now is take the heat gun to it, get rid of any other small little wrinkles or imperfections. Well, I have one more to do. That would be, I guess it's the backrest over there. It's going to be very similar to what you just saw. So I'm just going to spend more time on that other one to finish the job. But as you can see, this is how it's done. And I hope it's been helpful to you guys. And what do you think? Write in the comments, please. Let me know what you think about what I did here today. And until next time, we'll see ya.